Hello, this is Jay King, self-made millionaire, coming to you from MillionairePennyStocks.com. And I want to congratulate several of my students, several students that have small accounts. You're reading my blogs and you're also listening to video lessons. And that's wonderful because you need to continue to listen because this enters into your subconscious mind and eventually it begins to register some of the patterns and some of the ways that you can trade. The best trade for CHK, Chesapeake Energy, was to buy in the 4 ranges. And one student bought at 475. Congrats to Dave. And I think he sold it around 580, somewhere 590. I can't actually remember the exact amount. But also too today, if you would have got in on the breakout between 592 and 611, so you could have bought 3, 4, 500 shares, and you could have almost had about anywhere from a 50 to 75 cents upside on this particular trade. So that was also a good strategy for those of you that have small accounts. Now remember, if you have a small account, it's always good to buy 3 to 500 shares, sometimes 200 shares, depending on the price of the stock, and wait for the breakout. Now, you know, if you buy 200 shares and the stock drops 30 cents, then that's only a negative 60 loss. But if you buy 200 shares and the stock goes up $3, then that's a $600 gain. So remember now, when you're growing a small account, you may have to be much more patient because you're going to trade differently from a person that has a larger account. Me having a larger account, I trade a little bit differently. On this particular trade today, I waited for this particular stock to hit key levels of resistance, and I shorted this at 624. I saw a lot of resistance at 623, 625, 626 range. It was too volatile at 650, 640 to really tell where the support and resistance levels were. So I kind of waited for this to gradually go down, but this thing was a monster today. This stock was on steroids because it would dip down and then it would come back up, then it would dip down and come back up. So identifying where the resistance levels were, you would have to be watching this throughout the day to really understand that the key levels of resistance were around 620-ish, 625. So this was a good short today. I covered a little bit too early. I covered it around 617, 618. I didn't make too much off of this, but the mindset was right. My mindset was correct because, see, guys, what you have to understand is when a stock breaks out, let's look at the historical quotes. I'm not playing this to go long. I'm playing this daily pattern. This is a daily pattern. So a lot of my students didn't understand why I was shorting this stock. A lot of investors are buying into Chesapeake, and they're possibly reporting good earnings. I believe the next earning report is in May, if I'm not mistaken. But remember, when you're going long and when you're shorting stock are two different things, because remember today I was playing the daily pattern, and because I knew what goes up eventually comes down, I just waited for it to hit those key levels of resistance. And we see now it's all the way back almost to the day low at 592, but it's actually about at 596, 597. But I want to show you that this is an earnings winner. It is a breakout. And usually when things like this happen, companies are reporting good earnings, good financials. There's some things that's going on in Chesapeake right now as we speak. And many investors are dumping shares into Chesapeake. So we see a lot of price action. Yesterday we had over 183 million shares inside of Chesapeake, which was awesome. One of the things that we look for price action, momentum, volatility, and we look for volume. Very important. When you see volume has the ability to spike a stock, and it basically gives that stock its price action. So having a lot of volume and also having a lot of volatility, which we see the volatile spread within this stock, causes it to continue to uptrend. So I believe that it may continue to uptrend, but remember, we don't want to just read the news. We also want to play the charts and look at the price action. And so here we see that it has broken into new heights. It's gotten out of the 3 and the 4 ranges, and now it's in the high 5s and the low 6s. And so now Chesapeake is entering into new heights. Let's continue to look at this particular play. And I want to congratulate several students. You made money. You got in on the breakout. And as of now, I'm just going to watch this stock. I'm not going to trade it. But if it starts to lose a little bit momentum, and if it starts to down spiral, I will short it, because based on the actual historical quotes, we do know that it has entered into new heights, but it could merge back down. This company doesn't really hold its gains too well, So, you know, you want to sit back and identify the support levels and the resistance levels before you decide what your entry point is. And right now, I believe that the support levels are between 593 and 598 as of now. And the resistance level that we reported today, the resistance levels that we saw today was between the 620 and 625 range. So we'll begin to look at this stock throughout the week. This was a wonderful trade for those of you that bought even in the fours and held on for a little while, and those of you that bought in the high fives and sold in the sixes, congrats. Have a great week.